Well, it's time to dress up this room. Actually, the room is dressed up. It has very elegant curtains. The walls are done, stairs are done, the floor is done. It just needs furniture. So let's fill it up. Here are the coming attractions in this video. I made a knitting basket with a knitted project already started, a bookshelf and an old wingback chair, a living room sofa, and 2 end tables. Definitely created a mess, but it cuts pretty easy and it's free material, so. Oh dear, my cat is collecting the styrofoam balls. Oh my, she is covered with them. What a mess. This job, you don't want your cat nearby because this is what happens. She gets the styrofoam all over her. She just can't help herself. She's got to get right into whatever it is I'm doing. I covered each section with paper towels to stop the little balls from going everywhere while I'm trying to make furniture. Cover them just how you would wrap up a present, but instead of tape, use glue. Here is how it will go together. I have selected these 2 fabrics for this room. I debated about using the green for the sofa, but there wasn't enough of it there. So I'm going with my original plan of the patterned fabric for the sofa. In the 1970s, it was very common to have patterned fabrics on sofas. The house I am making is styled around the 70s period, sort of a nostalgia of my growing up. I start with a glued hemmed edge. This will become the finished edge positioned on the bottom corner of the cushion. It is helpful to cut off excess bulk. I only cut the first side. I need the full length for the finished edge on the sides. On the bottom edge of the sides, I fold and glue a hemmed edge. Check the length to make sure you have enough. If it's too long for one fold, trim off a little bit. Don't trim too much because you need enough to fold it over at least once. I try to have the corner seam run right down on the corner. See my seams? These sewing clips was helpful to hold the glued fabric while it set so I could jump around doing different parts. Now that all the sections are fully covered, it's time for assembly. The style of this sofa could be one of those fold-out sofa beds. One thing I will do different next time is to make the cardboard base on the bottom of the full width, including the arms. Funnel was useful in filling the pillows, but the static cling is a bit of a pain. The little styrofoam balls actually make a great fill for dollhouse pillows. I didn't show it, but I did attach the large pillows to the sofa with adhesive Velcro tape so they don't keep falling off. But I kept the throw pillows loose so they can be moved about. The sofa could also go back there, but I want it over here, under the drapes. Now to make a couple of end tables. I'm using popsicle sticks for this. I glued 5 sticks together, applying glue between them, then glued a perpendicular strip on each end. I also used the sticks to frame around the perimeter. I cut the sticks with a craft knife. Then I cut 4 legs from a 1/4 inch square dowel. I'm not giving the dimensions because you can make them whatever you choose. I wanted my table slightly lower than the height of my sofa. I used my mini level to make sure that the rungs are equal to each other as far as position goes. I split a stick down the middle to make smaller rungs to join between the legs to give more stability to the table. After the glue on the tables were set, I stained them with a dark mahogany stain. I applied 2 coats of stain. Because the mother in this house likes to knit, so she needs to have a knitting basket. I used 2 embroidery needles to knit a few rows of knitting for a knitting project. Tiny pom-poms covered with a bit of embroidery floss to create fake balls of yarn. Of course, I glued the ends to it so that it wouldn't come unraveled. And the balls of yarn, fake yarn, are glued into the little woven basket that I also made with wire and string. I made a bookcase. I'm testing it here for fit. I will stain it later. Now, for the wing-back reading chair. This is my first time making one. It was quite a process. I think I spent almost 2 full days making it. So many steps, and I think it turned out a bit wonky and a bit too small. I will have to enlarge my pattern for the next one. I don't think I used enough padding for the inside of the chair, and I shouldn't have put padding on the outside panels. But we live and learn from the exercise. It is still pretty cute in the end. This chair, as with the whole Dollhouse project, was a practice piece. I will do much better job on my next house and the furniture that I will make for it. Let me just say this, how much I love making miniatures. It's, you could say, my happy place. It is really and truly fun for me. Sometimes it's a challenge, but I enjoy the learning process. I could go out and buy miniatures. Some of the stuff is really cheap. Some of it's not. But it's far more fun to make them and to try making them out of recycled materials. I love the idea of recycling. I have no idea why. I'm fascinated with recycling. This whole Dollhouse project from the beginning, from the building to everything in it, cost me maybe $30 to make. And that was just the purchase of glue. I save anything that I might be able to use for Dollhouse and Dollhouse furnishings. My husband is always asking me, "Is this trash?" I look at the piece of cardboard and I say, "Oh, that is such a nice piece of cardboard." I'm thinking of its potential. I can't help myself. That is just how I am wired. So, I am finally coming to the end of this dollhouse project. It's taken me 2 years. I'm trying to finish it up for a Christmas gift. I will be delivering it on Christmas Eve and set it up under the tree after the kids go to bed. It is designed for young children to play with, and I'm sure they will love it. When I was a little girl, I wasn't allowed to touch the dollhouse at Pa's house because the furniture is so delicate and easily breakable. It wasn't until I grew much older that we, my best friend and I, were allowed to play with the dollhouse at Pa's house, if we were careful. I did try making a house out of cardboard when I was a young girl, but I didn't have access to the pretty papers, and I didn't have all the tools that I have today. I also didn't have the skills to do it. Now I sit here looking at this humble little house that I built and can't help but be proud of it. I built this, every single part of it and everything in it, well, except the cat and the teddy bear. I bought a little teddy bear. That little girl that I was so many, many years ago would be delighted at such an accomplishment. I just have a table and chairs to make for the kitchen. The table is mostly done, but I haven't started on the chairs. And I need to finish making the doll family that will live in this house. I've set a deadline to meet, so I must press on and get it done. 6 days until Christmas. Will I get it done? Oh, I hope so. Besides meeting that deadline, it will be a project that I can finally check off my to-do list as a project completed. But with the finishing of this house, it means the start of the next dollhouse, which will be a Victorian house with all the special details. I can't wait to get working on it. Start with a little table in the corner, and then our sofa, and another table. We'll put in a bookshelf. This family is a reading family. They don't have a television. They read books, so they had to have a bookshelf. Knitting basket with our little knitting project here. Now the home looks lived in. We need one more thing. Let's add a little cat. Yeah, no, the cat's a little big. It's actually for our Barbie size, but this family has to have a cat. I wish I had a lamp. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep up with my future in miniatures, as well as other creations my hands have wrought. Thanks for watching.